Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another 5-book recommendations video, this one all about historical fiction. I'm sure we all know the drill by now. One category, 5-book recommendations, hopefully a satisfactory enough mix that everyone finds something that strikes their fancy. I have a whole playlist of these kinds of videos, go and check it out if you're interested. Let's just get into the books. The first book I'm going to be recommending today is The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. This is a very literary historical novel. It won the Booker in the 1980s, I believe. Set during the end of the Second World War, this novel is set in an abandoned Italian villa that is acting as a wartime hospital, where Hannah, a nurse, stays behind to look after her remaining patient. So this is a pretty epic historical novel exploring themes of war and love and self-identity. It tackles these huge overarching themes and is set in vast, stunning, wide-ranging settings while also being very character focused. So the novel follows 4 very different, all damaged lives that intersect at various points throughout the book. Honestly, this novel is just stunning. It is an incredibly accomplished, well-rounded piece of literature. The writing is a particular highlight. Michael Ondaatje's prose is so perceptive and evocative. I remember being truly blown away by some of the passages in here while I read, and I remember thinking that it was some of the best writing that I had ever read. This book is so rich and intricate. The craftsmanship is impeccable. If you're wanting something pretty intense and technical and just very impressive, then this is your book. Next up is The Conviction of Cora Burns by Carolyn Kirby. So this is a bit of a lighter read than The English Patient in terms of things like pacing and ease of understanding, I'd say, if not in terms of plot content. Set in 1880s Birmingham, this novel follows a young woman called Cora who, after being brought up in a workhouse, is in prison when the novel opens. Cora is then released and goes to work as a servant in the house of a scientist, and the plot takes off from there. So as I said, in many ways I found this novel to be a very light read, and what I mean by that is it is totally consumable. If you want an intriguing, plot-driven, satisfying historical novel, then this one is for you. The novel is structured in a really fun way. We follow multiple different story threads throughout that all somewhat come together at the end, which is so satisfying. We have weird experiments going on with the scientist. We have Cora trying to find her long-lost twin sister. There's the story of Cora's mother and the mystery surrounding Cora's crime. This novel is just a good time, as well as the really intriguing plot lines. There is also a great atmosphere in here. Victorian Birmingham is gruesome and claustrophobic, and the characters are super intriguing as well. Clara is not a likable character, but you'll become enthralled by her. If this one sounds like your kind of thing, then definitely give it a go. The next recommendation won't come as a shock to any of you, I don't think, but it is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This has been one of, if not the most popular book of the year, and if you've seen my review of it, you will know that I love it just as much as everyone else. For those of you who don't know, this novel is set in Warwickshire in the 1580s, and it tells the story of Shakespeare's family, particularly his wife Agnes, who is somewhat feared in the community due to her unusual gifts, as well as their children, including Hamnet. So this novel really is a masterpiece. I think it deserves all of the praise it is getting. Everything about this is just beautiful. There is no other word for it. The characterization in here is sublime. We really get to know Agnes as a woman and a lover and a mother. You will believe her and root for her and become enthralled by her. Shakespeare in here is only ever referred to in relation to his family, so as the man or the husband or the father. So this novel really is a novel about Agnes and her family. One of the main themes explored in here is grief. This is such a painful yet tender portrayal of grief. It is very affecting, and the writing in here is beautiful as well. It feels very traditional but also somehow distinctive. We have lots of beautiful description, with nature imagery being particularly prominent throughout. If any of you have any interest in this novel at all, whether or not you typically enjoy reading Shakespeare, then you must give it a go. You won't regret it. It is a very special book. The fourth book in today's recommendations is Something Like Breathing by Angela Redmond. This is probably the least known book on this list. It is certainly the most underrated in my opinion. It is one that I really want more people on BookTube to read. Published by the glorious indie publisher And Other Stories, this novel is set in the 1950s on a remote Scottish island and primarily follows two teenage girls, Sylvie and Laurie, who become friends. So obviously this is a more modern historical novel, and the setting in here is lush. The remote Scottish island vibe is just glorious, and we explore a small, tightly knit community and all of their steadfast beliefs and norms and all of their quirky interactions. This novel is very coming of age. It explores family and female friendships. The characters in here are just great. The two central teenage girls are so endearing and convincing. You will love them. And this book just has such a wonderful, whimsical feel to it, created through both the themes and its writing, in both its beautiful lyricism as well as its description. This book feels very soft but perceptive, and there is a surprising dose of magical realism in here as well, which really works. I had such a great reading experience with this novel. I remember just falling in love with it and wanting other people to experience that as well. This is a little gem of a book, big recommend. And the final book that I'm going to be recommending today is The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. This is another recommendation for those of you who love your dark, gritty, mystery-shrouded Victorian novels, but also love your literary writing. Perhaps you enjoyed The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry and you're wanting something similar. Set in the 1850s, this novel follows the story of a young nurse who is sent to the remote, impoverished Irish Midlands to observe a miracle. An 11-year-old girl who has eaten nothing for 4 months but is well and thriving. So this is a pretty slow-paced, atmospheric novel that really allows a sense of suspense to build. 19th century rural Ireland really comes alive in here. We have Gothic influences throughout. The presence and absolute power of strict Catholicism is super present throughout as well, which is really interesting. This novel is incredibly gripping. The character of the young girl is super intriguing and chilling. Throughout the novel, you get to witness her physical and mental state every step of the way, along with the nurse, as you try to figure out what the fuck is going on. So yes, I would really recommend this one to anyone who is looking for a gothic psychological thriller. It is a really good read. So there we go, 5 more of my historical fiction recommendations. I really hope you all enjoyed hearing these ones. Please do let me know if any of them sound really good to you down below in the comments, or if you've already read any of them. Also, as always, please do let me know if you have any historical fiction recommendations for me. I love hearing recommendations from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As ever, I really appreciate it. I hope you're all doing really well. I look forward to chatting to you down below, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.